It's a big day today for India indeed, as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the world's biggest vaccination drive today as India tries to bring the COVID-19 pandemic under control. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the vaccination drive at some 3,000 vaccination centres across the country through video conferencing.
ये भारतीय वैक्सीन विदेशी वैक्सीनों की तुलना में बहुत सस्ती हैं और इनका उपयोग भी उतना ही आसान है। दूसरी डोज लगाने के 2 हफ्ते बाद ही आपके शरीर में कोरोना के विरुद्ध जरूरी शक्ति विकसित हो पाएगी। इसलिए टीका लगते ही आप असावधानी बरतने लगें, मास्क निकालकर रख दें, 2 गज की दूरी भूल जाएं, ये सब मत करिएगा। मैं प्रार्थना करता हूं, मत करिएगा। हमारे डॉक्टर, नर्स, पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ, एम्बुलेंस ड्राइवर, आशा वर्कर, सफाई कर्मचारी, पुलिस के साथी और दूसरे फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स, उन्होंने मानवता के प्रति अपने दायित्व को प्राथमिकता दी।
And it was Manish Kumar, a sanitation worker, who became the first person in the country to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Manish was vaccinated at New Delhi's All India Institute of Medical Sciences, or AIIMS. India's Health Minister Harshvardhan was also present during the launch of the vaccination drive. The country is aiming to inoculate more than 30 million health and frontline workers in the first phase. The Indian government has said that it will bear the cost of inoculating the healthcare workers or essential workers. And on the first day, around 100 people will be voluntarily vaccinated in each of the 3,000 or so centres in the country. The government said this week, calling it the start of the biggest such campaign in the world. And in phase 2 of the vaccination drive in India, the country will then prioritise people with underlying comorbidities and those who are above the age of 50. The country is using vaccine shots which are manufactured in India, one developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca, and the other indigenously developed by Bharat Biotech with the country's top medical research body. Meanwhile, the country has already bought 11 million doses of the AstraZeneca Covishield shot produced by the Serum Institute of India and 5.5 million of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. India, which has reported the highest number of coronavirus infections after the United States, wants to vaccinate around 300 million people with the 2 doses in the first 6 to 8 months of the year. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also said that politicians will not be considered as frontline workers. The government will also inaugurate the online platform called WION that will provide information on vaccine stocks and storage of temperatures and other requirements as well. Now, for more about India's ambitious vaccination strategy, Virologist Michal Linal joins us from Jerusalem for more. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, it is a big day for India as the country launches the world's biggest and most ambitious vaccination drive against COVID-19. And unlike other countries where we've seen big leaders and government heads get the vaccine, we just saw a sanitation worker to be the first to get the vaccine. There is, of course, plan to do the same in a phased manner, giving priority to essential workers. So tell us about your views on the same.
Hi, it's good to be with you. Indeed, congratulations for India. It's a really big day, and I'm with you in all my heart for the success of this quite amazing operation. Now, you asked about who must be the first and so on. I think it's extremely important that indeed the health worker, doctors, nurses, and so on, those are now the soldiers of this quite hard, I would say, war. So they should be the first, no question about it. Concerning politicians, as you probably know, in Israel, there was a real worries in the beginning that many people will be afraid or reluctant to get the shot. So some politician and also, by the way, some famous, let's say, artists and so on got the shot in order to change the view, the state of mind of the people.
Right.
And what happened here, that within a very, very short time, it flipped, so that there was more people that wanted to get injected rather than to get the vaccination. Then, this is also very important for India, that people will be showing it, willing to take the shot. That makes the difference.
Right. Now, some 30 million essential workers will get priority in vaccination in India in the first phase, and then moving on to senior citizens and more, of course. So what will be the challenges for a country like India?
So, first of all, it's a huge operational task. The reason being, I'll just mention something that might be trivial, but I know that in Israel, as you know, already 25% of the country have been vaccinated, which is enormous. So the challenge first is to make sure that the right people are getting it. That's number one. Number two, and more important, is to know loud and clear that once you get the vaccination, you are not secured.
Right.
It only takes a few weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks to get the full capacity of the vaccine. Right. So a lot of people thought mistakenly that once they got the shot, they are safe. They can meet their children and their parents. That was a big mistake. Right. And I think now we are paying the price for that.
Right.
So,
Michal, I'm glad you pointed that out, but in fact the Indian Prime Minister did say in his address that even after taking the vaccine, firstly you have to take 2 doses, and even after you take the vaccine, it is not a miracle wand, so to speak. You need to practice social distancing and wear a mask at all times. That brings me to my next question now, that India has opted for 2 vaccines, both manufactured in India and one indigenously developed, and the country has so far resisted ordering others from Pfizer given the logistical and storage challenges, of course. So tell us more about your opinion on India's vaccination strategy.
Okay, sure. So first of all, I think we discussed this in the past, but I think it's a very important point. India, because of its size and other logistic complication, cannot rely on Pfizer Moderna type, because really it's put all the effort in storage and delivery rather than in vaccination. So I'm very happy for India that took the very courageous decision to go to 2 different strategy, the COVID shield and the other, the Covaxin, which are excellent vaccination. We don't know exactly, the details, but within a very short time, I am sure that the amount of data that will be accumulated, and that's another challenge for India, to accumulate and analyze very fast the first, let's say, million people, the first 2 million, and so on, and then adapt, if needed, the regulation. So since being flexible now and very precise on the other hand, for example, I'll give you one very worrisome. What happened if people haven't come to get the second shot?
Right.
Is it if the government or the India needs to call them to come to their house and do it, or to say, okay, people are responsible for themselves and so on. So a lot of decision making has to be done in a clever way. Right. And I hope really for India that it will be done so.
My final question, a cost-effective and cheap vaccine is essential to finding more takers. So what, in your view, will make India's rollout more effective and faster?
So I think really it's also a matter, of course, in the scale of India, it's a matter of money. And I think both vaccination, they are not very cheap. Still, they are probably the best that one can aim to in this current time. Hopefully, in a short time, maybe, few months from now, there will be, and I'm sure there will be, a vaccination that can stay, let's say, only 1 shot and not 2, and only, let's say, you can keep it for days on the, without any special needs to worry and so on. But I really encourage the Indian people not to wait and to really use whatever is given, because a lot of people say, yeah, let's wait half a year or a year. I must say that the virus is changing very fast in the world, especially in Europe, and this is a worrisome issue.
Right, Michal, thank you so much for all your inputs, and thank you for joining us on this broadcast on WION. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.